Hey, it's Shelly Rose May Art by the Métis Mama, and I am going to do a mixed media art thingy on this canvas. So my husband got this stretched watercolor canvas, 12 by 16 inches. He didn't realize it was a watercolor canvas, so he didn't want it. So he gave it to me. So let's dive into this, and I'll show you how I start my canvases. Come on. There we go. Make sure I'm in frame. Okay, I need to empty my garbage. It's getting full. Okay. So, the first thing I like to do is just add some color. And because we're moving into winter time, I'm going with darker colors. Let's use this thing just to see what happens. Piece of the plastic from the canvas. Okay. Then I'll take my card and just do this. Okay. I'll pick up a little bit of that paint, and we're gonna throw down, let's do some yellow. I'll use this one up first. Technically, is it still fall? I guess technically it is. Until the 21st of November? No, December, sorry. Okay. And I'll do the sides as well. All right, next, I'm gonna just take a little bit of this paint off again, just so it dries quicker, mostly. That's usually the reason why I do that, because when there's more paint on it, it takes longer to dry. And I really love how this sort of looks there. So I think what I'm gonna do is give it a quick blow dry. So you can pause, I'll just pause this for a minute. Okay, I gave that a quick blow dry. It's not 100% dry, but it's really pretty good. Okay, now I'm feeling blue. But I think this blue. And this, I'm just gonna put some in my paint tray and use my fingers for this part. I think. Just gonna go into those white spaces with my finger. on the sides as well. And I don't really have an idea what's coming out. All my artwork is always like intuitive. It's like I just will throw down colors and I don't know, I don't really have an expectation. I'm kind of like I'm in flow state basically. Allowing creator to come through me as the channel, because, you know, as an artist, we're just the channel for the one mind of creator. And you never know what your piece is going to look like. A lot of people will say to me when they take classes with me, they'll have like an idea of how they want their medicine dolls to look, or I've taught a few mixed media classes, but not that many. Mostly spirit dolls is what people want to learn from me. And they'll say, well, it didn't really turn out the way I wanted, but she looks great, right? Their doll. But I always tell people, well, it's not supposed to turn out the way we want it to turn out. We can put a template out there in our minds, but it's just a template. It's going to turn out how creator wants it to turn out, not how we want it to turn out. Creator, when I say creator, I use that word interchangeably with God, creator, source. It's all the same thing. Okay, I'll just do a little bit more blue over here in some of these empty spaces. Grabbing paper again to lift up some of that heat. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to, my friend Teresa gave me some of this, which is great because I was out of it and I had some for a long time and I threw it out. This, I don't even know what you call this. It's some kind of a ribbon, but it's great for stenciling. So I just need to straighten it out a little bit because it's a kind of, I just wonder if I put some tape, it will help straighten it out because I can't stand it when it rolls. Oh, and I'm almost out of tape. Of course. I thought if I put some tape on it, it would prevent it from rolling. Now, I don't have enough to put it this way, so I can't do it, but I think that'll do. Okay, now we're going to use this as a stencil. And now I need to figure out what other color I want on here. And what color do I want on here? Do I want copper? Do I want some pink? Pink seems nice. I think I might have to go with the pink. I feel it. Now it's starting to not go into the direction that I wanted it to go, which was more around like the darker tones of the season. But again, it's not up to me. It's up to creator and what needs to come out. And here we go. Let's try this. And I'm going really lightly. I don't want to push too hard because then it will look not so great. that looks great. Looking good, looking good. I like that a lot. Put a little bit more over here and down here. Okay, let's keep working it here. Let's see. Okay, up here. Okay, and we'll try right here. Maybe a little bit right here. This will probably get covered up. I try not to focus on the center because that's usually where I do my paintings of my girls. And I mean, if you wanted, you could do some on the side here as well, just to keep with the just to keep it visually interesting in case you're not, whoever purchases this painting in the future. Oops, look at that. I'm all out of, let's put some different colors on there. So that's probably really too close for you to see. Let me just, okay. Okay, now, that looks pretty good. So now I would blow dry this again. So let me pause you again. Okay. All right, so I blow dried that. Feels nice. Now, the next thing is I'm going to do a little outline of what I'm going to draw. So I'm just going to take my Stabilo. I wish I lost my glasses. Now I can't see worth shit. Or I'll use, sometimes I use a pencil, but I think I'll use this. So what I like to do is like look at my painting and then I'll see an image pop out. And okay, I'm seeing one right here. So it's showing me a face around here in this area right here. And okay, it's a little bit different. So it's going to have more of a body here. And here's the neck. And here's the face. And this one has eyes open. So a lot of my paintings have eyes closed, but this one has eyes open. So that kind of gives us the structure. Okay, now I need some paint. I'm going to take some of this burnt sienna, put that in my tray. And then let's use some of this white. Okay. And I'm just going to mix my white and my burnt sienna together to get it to a tone that I like. And then I'm just going to go in paint that. Paint the neck. Okay. And we're just going to leave that alone for a minute, for a bit, and we're going to work on the dress here. And so I have a lot of papers in my little junk basket here, my paper basket. So I'm gonna do some collage on the dress, and I want to use some indigenous stuff. Let's see. Mixed with other stuff, because I'm a Cree Métis artist. I like incorporating my culture into my artwork. And I have a lot of really cool pictures. Most of them are of men though. I'm going to see if I can find one of women. Here's some nice ones of women, but look at how big that cactus is. That's crazy. But look how beautiful that is. The only issue with this one is, like, I kind of want to keep it more Canadian, First Nations, because I'm Canadian. So here's a cool picture. This is an actual photograph. It looks like a painting, but it's an actual photograph. I think I like this kind of part here, so I'm going to use some of that, I think. So I'll save that one. Let's see. There's a lot of really, that's Geronimo. You might just use the teepee. Let's see. I think I may use some of this. This was my son's artwork. I do have some of this mixed media that I did as well, but I don't know. I might use some of these dictionary pages. I have this flower. I might use some of that. I have this piece too. I like that tree, possibly. Some of that. Some of these pieces as well. I'll take a few. Actually prefer these ones. Let's do a couple of those. Maybe one of those. Take that one. And I like some of these coloring strips, so try. Okay, let's start with those. Let's see what happens here. Okay. keep that one for something else. And we'll do this. And I don't want any straight edges, so I gotta tear these. Do not like the straight edges. I might have to do a straight edge here if I do this. And on this side, I'm going to kind of curve it a little bit to fit here. Do that. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we can fill in any gaps with paint. I'll put another one down here, like so, and like that. And down here we'll do one. And we'll take some of this dictionary page, put that there, put that there. Use some of this one too. Put this one here, and this one can go right here. Okay, so something like that. So now, oops. We'll just get rid of this stuff. Now we can put our Mod Podge over top. Okay, so what I do is I just take these off, and I don't really care if I don't remember where things go because it always just kind of works out anyways. So let's just, so I'll start with this one here. And then this one. And I'm not pressing them down hard, I'm just kind of laying them down so that I can, if I have to lift them up to put other pieces underneath, I can. Okay. And then I might make changes too, because like I never know once I lay these pieces down how things are going to come together. So this one is going to go like this. Put that one here. Okay, and I'll do this one. I'm really tired today. Okay. And see how it didn't come, like it came together, but it wasn't how I originally had laid it down, but that's okay. That's how it often works out when I do these. Never is exactly the way I envision it, even when I lay it down like that. Okay. And I just let go of control. I allow spirit to, creator, God, whoever you believe in. If you don't believe in anything, that's fine. But that's what I believe, is that we're channels and we just have to allow the flow to come through. Okay. All right, I like that. There we go. Now, I gotta blow dry this. So pause this again. Okay, that's dry, so I'm gonna leave that for now. And then I'm going to take my pencil and just kind of do a bit of a face here. I see a nose right here. So I'm just gonna capture that, and there's a mouth right here. Okay, now do some eyes, because this one I've seen her eyes open. And the eyes don't have to be perfect. I just try to keep them aligned, but that's one of the things I like about the kind of art that I do is it's imperfect. I do not like realism. Not to say that I don't like people who paint realism, but for my personal style, I'm not a fan of it. Like I love the whimsy of the kind of art that I do. Okay, so there's her face. And there's her dress. And I might give her wings too, probably give her some wings. But for now, I'm gonna work on the face and her dress. So I don't really feel like painting right now because I'm really tired, but I wanted to get this started. So this will be part 1. And when I'm feeling a little bit more energetic, I'll finish off her face in another video, but maybe I could just kind of get a little bit started. Maybe I'll just do it. I don't know. Let's see what happens if I just start. Let's get her eyes filled in. This is not a very good brush. Let's try this again. This is not a very good brush either. I need to get new brushes. That's not a good one. Well, I'll just try this one again. It's also that paint. I need a different paint. That type of black that I was using is kind of a sticky. It's kind of sticky. This one's a little bit more fluid. Put too much water in there though. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get a different brush for her face. And let's see. I'm just going to put a little bit of white around her eye here. At this stage, I'm not looking for it to be perfect. We're just trying to get down the highlights and shadows, and then we go in and make it better. She gets ugly before she gets pretty. Let's just put it that way. Okay. I'm not very chatty today, but what can I chat about? So what I'm thinking about with this painting is something to do with home is where the heart is. Grow where your roots are planted. That's a term that I've loved for a long time. This woman that I used to know named Drumheller told me that one a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but a while back. And I had heard it before, but I never really thought much of it. But when she told me it, I was just like, yes, I love that. Grow where your roots are planted. And it just always stuck with me. So this isn't the best brush for detailing. I'm just getting these highlights and shading, and then I'll go in and do more detailing. Doesn't usually take me too long to do face anymore like it used to when I first started painting. I actually learned how to do mixed media art by watching YouTube tutorials. I'm a stage 4 cervical cancer survivor, and I chose to do things on my own for about 2 years. I treated my own cancer and did things my own way. I was too afraid to go to the doctor and get an official diagnosis because I knew what they would say to me, because I knew I had all the symptoms of stage 4 cancer. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own, and I don't care what they say, I'm doing it on my own, right? Because I just finished seeing my mom pass away from the treatment of colorectal cancer, and I didn't want I didn't want that to happen to me. Whoops. Okay, I accidentally put blue down there, but there are no accidents, so let's get some blue in there. A little bit of blue on this side too. And so I treated myself for 2 years, and then once I reversed nearly every symptom, I knew the cancer was still there because I still had really like minor ache, really mild ache in my lower pelvic area. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go in and see what's going on. So at that point, they diagnosed me as stage 3. So even though after 2 years, I worked my butt off to reverse all the symptoms, the cancer was still there, because it takes a long time to reverse cancer when you do it naturally. But remember, it takes a long time to get cancer too. So they say cancer starts in your etheric body and, you know, your spiritual body before it actually enters into your physical body. So so at that point, I decided, okay, well, you know, maybe let's just do a radical hysterectomy, which is what they were suggesting, and just be done with it. So I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. To this day, I still feel like it was the worst decision I ever made, because it's taken me almost 10 years to heal from that radical hysterectomy. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. Worse than the cancer. And honestly, if I could go back in time and choose between cervical cancer and a radical hysterectomy, I would choose cervical cancer, because it was that bad. And people don't understand how hard it was to heal from that. So anyways, long story short, I feel like cancer was a gift and a blessing to me. It taught me a lot about how to heal myself and where I was out of balance, and yeah. But my point is that while I was healing, I kind of went off on a tangent there. I learned a lot about mixed media art. I started watching art videos because I was already doing art, but my art had yet to really kind of bloom. And I just started discovering people on YouTube that did mixed media art, and I was like, wow, like this is really cool. I really like this style. And because before I was kind of trying to do some Métis type of, you know, the Métis florals. I liked it, but I wasn't like crazy over it or anything. And I've done kind of like folk artsy type stuff. There was a few different styles I tried, but when I found mixed media art, I fell in love with it. And some of the people I learned from were my very first teacher on YouTube was Sarah from My Serenity Crafts, who taught me how to do these like bird or people, how to do these ones, these little birds. And so this was one, I did a whole series of these bird paintings and practiced my mixed media art. Like these are just book pages, hymn pages. And I painted that tree, then I added all these little embellishments, but she really taught me like the foundations of mixed media art. And then I discovered some of the other kind of powerhouses in the mixed media art community, like Tamara Laporte of Willowing. I watched many of her videos and kind of got to know her style. I didn't really get into the type of art supplies that she uses. I just used my own style, but her videos really helped me a lot to just come up with, I guess, ideas in my own art. Who else did I like watching? There's like other random artists, but I can't remember their names, to be honest. And so I would just do like, you know, mixed media art paintings with different cool whimsical sayings. And then one day I had this idea of like, because I was healing from cancer, I was like, you know what, I just need to focus on my continued healing journey, because I knew I was stuck in survival patterns, which is why I got cancer. And I wanted to be out of those patterns. I didn't want to be forever in survival mode. And so I decided I was going to start using my art as a way to heal from my ancestral trauma, because my grandmother had attended Indian residential school, and she was an alcoholic until late in her life. My mom was an alcoholic too. I struggled with alcohol a little bit, but I could always maintain a home and a life for myself. Unlike my mom, who was always in trauma, always in crisis mode, like always losing her places, not being able to afford to sustain herself. Not severely, but she didn't have the greatest life, I would say, but she was a good mom when we were growing up. She never drank till we got older, and so I wanted to heal those patterns. And I really did have a good childhood, though. Yeah, we had some trauma, but nothing, I feel like, major enough that it kept me, for me anyways, it didn't keep me stuck. Like, I always had a resilient spirit. So so that's what I did. I decided to start using my art as a way to heal. And that's exactly what I did. I started putting like certain messages into my art, like through the strength of the ancestors, she found the courage to fly, like things like that. Incorporating our culture. When the drum beats, she flies. You know, things that our community would connect with as Indigenous people. Yeah, I'm just downstairs painting. I'm just down here painting. What's up? Hang on one second. I'm just going to pause this for a minute. Okay, now we're going in the eyes. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I paused it just for a few minutes, but I'm back. I'm just going to do the eyes. They don't have to be perfect. Because we will we can correct things. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with the black again and just round these out a little bit. And it's my 8-year-old in the background making noise again. Okay. And just want Sage, can you please go upstairs? You're being too loud. Hello, Earth to Sage. Hello, hello, hello. Is anybody home? Okay, let's give this a quick blow dry. And I'm gonna go in with a really expensive art tool that I like to use called a ballpoint pen. A black ballpoint pen. This just helps me outline it the way I want it to, and then I can go over it with black paint if I like, or a Sharpie, like a fine tip Sharpie or an archival ink pen or whatever. But I like this because it gives me more control. And it just helps me to kind of, okay, that's enough. Please stop right now, okay? Can you please go and ask Papa what you need? And tell Papa what you need, because I'm not done here. So this gives me more control. If you're gonna be down here, you need to be quiet, okay? Giving the outline helps me to see the placement of everything too, like the lines and stuff, if that makes sense. And yeah, sometimes I mess up, but we can go over it with paint. And then I just do this thing. I do this with the nose. Still needs a little bit of blow drying on the eye there. Hang on. Okay, so it's not going to she's not going to have black eyes. I'm going to go put some color in there after I'm done here. Okay. And then we'll take some white. Give it a little bit of adding the white gives it a little bit more, like it makes the lip look like it's got dimension. Is that the right word? I don't know. I think so. Okay. I'll take our pen again, and I'm just gonna go here and frame out these eyes. And just gonna give it a little bit more white here. Just a little bit more white in here. And then the side of the nose here, just give it a little bit more. Okay. Give her a little bit of rosy cheeks. Okay, now I still have a lot to do on her face, but she's coming together. And I'm gonna go up and have a coffee here because I need a coffee. And I'm gonna do a part 2 to this video. And we're gonna finish her off, and I'm gonna see how I finish off my paintings, okay? So that's the end of this video because we're almost at an hour, so check out part 2 coming soon.